Hello, hello. Welcome, Dhruv.
Hello, hello.
How
It's
is it in
11 a.
India?
11. It's 11 p.m. not a.m.
Great. Yeah, that's so you moved from UK to London, which is
UK to London. London is in
oh
UK.
yeah. Apologies. You moved from London to India, and you are far away from me now.
No,
For a few
it's
days at.
the few more days. Few more days. No secrets to be revealed.
Okay, so why we are today? I think we are late, but we are starting with our Vancouver release features list. Um, we were doing some deep dive sessions in past, and that's the reason maybe we are late, and some other priorities as well. But nevertheless, today we are going to talk about spoke generators.
It's the
I
same thing,
think
right? Like when you in knowledge you had your what you call pack. It was shown to
yeah,
you in pack. Is the same thing or something different?
no, it's a bit different. So people might have seen a live coding happy hour with me, Pranav, and couple of product managers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there also we sort of covered spoke generator, but today we are going to do a deep dive into spoke generators. So I will share my real-time use cases where I see a potential use of spoke generators. And because I upgraded already soon to Vancouver, one of our instances, we already started putting down on the roadmap how we are going to use spoke generator. So I thought, okay, let's go live on this and start sharing our knowledge. Before
But you
that,
haven't answered my question. The one that we see in Vancouver, is it same you saw in pack or something different?
no, it's something different. So let's see how I can share more details on that.
Safe harbor.
Yes, safe harbor, please. Okay, before that, a quick introduction. I'm Ashutosh Munoth. I am working as a product owner and an architect with one of the financial institutes in Netherlands. I'm myself a dev MVP and a community MVP for a couple of times. And if now people know me like an advocate of the citizen development program, and I'm a pro citizen developer, program fan basically. Over to you, Dhruv.
Everyone, my name is Dhruv, three-time ServiceNow developer MVP, multiple time knowledge speaker with Ashutosh only. And I think this year we had two sessions. And you missed the best part, Latan Vi Pratan. We run a podcast called Latan Vi Pratan. In Dutch, it's known as Let's Talk. So today, let's talk Spoke Generator.
Great. I'm quickly going to share my screen. Okay. I'm going to quickly move this to the side. Yeah. So what I have done is maybe I'm from this. Then let me know through if you have any questions or if our audience has any questions in the chat.
Yeah, I'm
Before
looking
we
at the
be-
queue, but
yeah,
when you remove us from the screen, I couldn't
yeah,
hear
you
you.
can't say. Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to do that anymore. So This is, of course, Vancouver. That's the reason you see this kind of UI. But we are going to do a next session on the flow designer specifically. Then we will go into, or we will do a deep dive about flow designers in that particular session. For now, I'm focusing on the spokes. You people who usually use flow designers, they can recognize that this is an extra addition here, and these are all the spokes which are already activated in my instance. Okay, but how do you create new spoke? So basically, when you type new, click on new, you select spoke. Now, a prerequisite for this is you should have open AI specification of a tool for which you are trying to generate a spoke. So what I did
Open
is
AI or Open API?
open a, open API, yes, open API specifications. No, I will show you
Please go
in a
through the
bit.
docs.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing. Open AI, open API. But we need those specifications in a form of, uh, let's say, JSON format, uh, which is kind of a prerequisite for the spoke generator. Next thing is, when you use spoke generator, you should also have credentials already with you, because that is also one of the step I'm going to show you. Let's start typing Latan Vipratan demo. I'm just going to use our podcast name. Great. Now you can see open AI specifications are needed. If you don't have it, you can of course create it manually, but that was the old way of creating your actions. But basically, what we are going to do is we are going to use OpenAI specifications today. Now it is asking me if I can import it from an URL, or if I can put a YAML or a JSON of that particular open API for that particular respective tool. Now, into details, let me start with some of the use cases. I know many ServiceNow developers have created many scripted REST APIs which do something from one instance into another instance, or call an external tool to get some data. So today we are going to take a simple example. We have REST APIs. So basically, again, before going into how to do this, why I came up with this example for this demo is I have seen that many people are actually copy pasting the groups, or there is an ops team who is uh, exporting XML of groups, the group membership, the role membership of that particular user, and moving it towards the non-production instances so that you have it in a proper you have it uniform in all the instances, because sometimes cloning is not possible. Second can be, if you want to raise a request simultaneously in multiple instances, if you have multiple production instances, then also you create scripted REST API and so on. So ServiceNow has given a way to actually export an open API specification for a scripted REST API, or for any out of the box API. So I'm going to take a simple example by going to REST API Explorer. And
So
what I'm going to do is,
when we say JSON or YAML file, is it around
yeah,
the request response format, or is it the YAML file of the API itself?
YAML file of the API. If the API is properly created, it also has parameters in it. It
Yeah.
also has a header, for example, if needed, and you can make you can specify your own input parameters to these respective APIs when you create your own OpenAI specifications. I have an example. For example, let's see. I'm going to do is I'm going to take uh, catalog APIs, right? We have these
Mhm.
catalog APIs. In the bottom here, we have an option to export it into an YAML format or JSON format. I'm just going to do JSON quickly and I'm going to open. When I open this, you can see that it has exported Open API specification 3.0.1, which is the
Mhm.
latest. And now, to answer your question, you can see we have paths. These paths are nothing but the APIs. The servers, here right now, I only have one, but I can add multiple non-production instance URLs, production instance URL. And basically, if I don't know how many of you are familiar with Swagger,
I can
but
only
I
see your
have,
browser if I'm the only one.
oh, you don't see my,
Uh,
let me
let's see.
quickly share. Yeah, online, right? um,
So this spoke generator is kind of a way of standardizing the integrations, if may say, like
yes,
multiple
so,
partners go for same tool, integrating with the same tool, using
yeah,
their own methods. So if they use spoke generator, they're gonna standardize things, and troubleshooting and other things would be easier.
yeah. Let's say, for example, the another use case which I thought of was we have so many in-house applications built in, and as per the architecture, we always tell the owner of that particular application that we need an OpenAI spec for that application if they support uh, APIs, REST APIs or not. So I have more than 40, 50 applications where, and internally we also have some API libraries where we check if the API is in standard way, what API suggests, and we are actually publishing our APIs there. So imagine 30, 40 applications in-house, inbuilt. If I convert all those applications in by using spoke generated into multiple actions and spokes, I'm already saving so much time for my developers and for the citizen developers also to reuse the spoke easily, right? Because right now what is happening is they need to wait for us to create the spoke manually, and then we make it available for the citizen developers and for different teams. But now we want to give this authority, or let's say this provision, to our developers and citizen developers itself, that hey, go create your own spoke and publish it for all the audience or the
And
rest of the
I've
world within
seen
an
different,
organization.
yeah, I've seen different vendors use doing the same thing because, for example, I can say if I have a product that is used by multiple companies, I have multiple clients, and few of them are using ServiceNow, some of them are using different platforms. I need to manually go and check what kind of integration they have done, how they have done. But
True.
if I have spoke generator or something like some standard way, like spoke generator is ServiceNow way of saying standard things. But if it is a very common practice, then you save a lot of effort. YAML file, I think it's quite similar to what we do for creation of virtual machines and network devices as a service, right?
Yes,
In
I
AWS.
will show you. Yeah, and I can show both YAML and JSON. Right now, we downloaded the JSON file. I opened it, and this is how it looks. And just to reiterate, because I was not sharing, you can see the servers. You can keep adding multiple servers, right?
Mhm.
Then these are the paths. Path represents what kind of call you are doing. Get call, so you can get a cart. You can check out your cart, and so on. So what ServiceNow says is, okay, bring your um, Open API specs into the spokes generator. Uh, and I'm going to quickly go to this page and simply paste it here. Once you paste it, say import. Now you see it is saying that,
Mhm.
okay, I have imported this. Now they are asking me to create an authentication mechanism. What I'm going to do is for this, I'm just going to use basic authentication. I'm going to give the name again as LWP demo and create. Now, when I click on generate operations, basically what happens is, again, I'm going to deviate from the ServiceNow screen to here. What I have observed is it will create one action per path. So this is what you see here. There will be one action for
So basically,
uh,
every method is a path, right? In REST API, every
yes,
endpoint is a
yes,
path. So for in
yeah.
our,
So for
for
each
example, in
path,
catalog, yeah.
yeah, for each path there will be one action created. Okay. So let's go back here and click on generate. You
So
see,
it will show
it,
all the things that were we were seeing in REST API Explorer, the options.
yes. So basically, it created 48 actions from that
Wow.
respective open API specifications. Now, it's not mandatory that you create action for all this. If you want to do this, you just select this and it will publish 10 because on this page you only have 10. It will ignore the 38 one. Okay. So
Mhm.
we have to keep that in mind. If I select this, it does not mean that I will create all the 48 actions. But now I'm mainly interested in, let's say, getting the catalogs, how many catalogs we have. Then I'm interested, for example, in um, getting a catalog item details, getting a
Ah,
record
nice.
producer details. And now you can see here I have selected two. And if I go, but here you see publish three because on this page I selected one. So it retains the selection on the previous page or the next page.
What
Now
other
what I will
options do
do
we
is
have on publish? Like I see a small arrow.
here save
Oh,
actions as
save
draft.
action. Right. Okay.
So basically, it will simple formula like publish means it then it will be immediately
Yeah, yeah.
available for everyone on the platform, and save as it's not available for anyone but only for the developer who is developing this. Then I'm going to click on publish. So yeah, of course, it is trying to now read the um, Open API specifications, and now it is doing this. You can see the progress on the top here,
Mhm.
and now it has created um, 2 out of 3, and I know why because uh, there is one already created in past for this. I already uh, because I was practicing or debugging few things. We already created one thing uh, for this particular exercise. Let's say
It's
now,
a kind of nice UI, right? Like you can create new
indeed,
action from here directly, and it's a kind of a workspace thing.
yeah, okay. Now you can see this is pretty interesting. Here you have new action. You can either manually again create an action or you can say from OpenAI specifications. This will remember your last,
Hmm.
uh, let's say,
Imported.
OpenAI specifications, what you have imported. If I select that again, I again have my credentialize. I again click on generate options.
Oh, that's
I have
nice.
already created this, so I'm not going to create this. But let's go to the last page if we have something to post. Uh, Let me use something,
It's quite
not
good,
this
right? Like
one.
for low code developers, if I think like if they want to
Yeah,
do Facebook kind of a say Facebook workspace or any other integration, and they're
indeed.
not strong with that, if that provides OpenAI specific API specific things, they're good. I read somewhere someone was telling about this, like they had certain restrictions on the media types and all. Like it always has been the case with ServiceNow, right? Do we have
Yeah.
anything like that, or it's all cool?
No, I think it's all good. The only thing, like I said, for this
Uh,
specific topic or feature, I think we only need OpenAI specifications.
No, in Open API specific itself. So there are
Yeah.
multiple data types, if I remember correctly. So there are certain
Yes.
data types it doesn't support. ServiceNow currently doesn't support, like the certain restrictions on media types and all. Obviously, because ServiceNow
Mm,
is not that platform, right? It's not a media
I
altering
understand.
platform.
So you are talking about the inputs, and we are inputs for an action, let's say, or inputs
Yeah,
for a
kind of.
specific. Yeah. So I have not seen something like that, but we are going to go to the inputs discussion on this. Basically, you can see now two are published and two are in draft, uh, because yeah, we have to select this, open this. Now I'm opening a particular action. Here you see open API step. This is also a new feature of Integration Hub, of course, where they gave us open API step. And here the connection alias was automatically created when we gave the name of the credentials in the first place. And the basic authentication is tied to this particular alias.
Mhm.
So let's open this and see if
It
we
definitely
have.
creates a separate scope, right?
Yeah, it automatically creates an application. The name of the
Yeah,
spoke is an application, so
yeah,
that's the basic
yeah.
thing. So yeah, good point to tell that also, that this is basic. This whole exercise will create its own application. Now here it is asking if it is a connection or credential based thing, but of course I'm going to create connection and credential because I want to specify what is the endpoint,
Hmm.
and I want to specify the credential. So what we usually do is we go into the backend, we type credentials and credential alias. You can see this is created. Let's quickly create one.
So it's a kind of a good thing for n- n- not the spoke generator, but this credential aliases for people working on
Yeah.
integration when you migrate it from one instance to another. So to avoid that hassle, you should use these things.
Yes. And the advantage is, for at least for me as a developer, the advantage is it's so easy, right? The OpenAI API specification already gives you a skeleton, and you can quickly create an action within no time. Because right now, when I if I compare the old version of creating an action or spoke and this, I think this is more efficient. This saves more time. Within, let's say, a minute, you already have 30, 40 actions created for you. You don't have to invest that much time, right? And that's something for me very important. Productivity increases basically.
And the best part is it's very standardized kind of a thing. So it's not only for service now, but other tools are also moving in that direction itself. So you are keeping pace with that, with the latest technologies.
Indeed. Now, what I'm doing basically is I'm quickly creating one. I'm going to use for demo this one now, my admin account, but I'm quickly creating a basic thing. And then if I go back to the connection, I will quickly add this one, update. So basically now we are set with setting up the connection and credentials on the instances. Now what we will do is we will again go back here,
Mhm.
and now couple of things before I publish this. Of course, we can test this, but you see what, um, this is a traditional step, right? It is not a
Yeah,
rest step anymore. It is automatically taking the inputs based upon the open API specifications. So if I
yeah,
compare this API, and if I go and say control F, catalog.
there would be so many catalogs. You might want to copy the
So
endpoint.
just check this one. Here in the parameters, it is
Hmm.
expecting us to pass the sys ID of
Hmm.
the particular catalog, right? Similarly, whatever you put in this particular section of parameters, it is considered as step inputs.
And the other thing that you need to notice is if you go on that JSON file, sysID parameter required says true. So it automatically makes it mandatory as well.
Mandatory, indeed. So this is so efficient. This is so good, but uh, there are no inputs. So basically, if I want the sys ID from my flow to pass to this action, I need to create it manually here. So what I'm going to do is quickly create one ID, go here, pass
I
like
thought it would
this.
be automatically created. I was expecting
No,
too
but
much.
this is yeah. For step inputs, it is created automatically, but not for the whole action input, because the reason is this is just a step. You can have your own set of steps also in one action, and that's the reason they are just giving us a skeleton. And I think I like this a lot. Quickly saving this, containing restricted keywords. Why?
Was a or sysID or something.
Uh,
Maybe your input parameter.
this is just a string that should be fine. It is
But it's
giving
saying
error here. Let's try again. And select this.
I think the backend name of input is creating problem.
Bad request, invalid input names. Okay, I think this is not good. So let's say LWP underscore.
Yeah.
Yeah, this works.
Okay.
Great. Now, if you want to test this, or let's say first publish this.
We test first, then publish.
Yeah.
Going.
um, if you see, it is expecting us to pass a sysID of a catalog item. So quickly, I'm doing everything in one instance. So I'm going to quickly grab one sysID, pass it here, and run. And you see, it's completed. It goes here, and if you see, it gives us the metadata of that whole catalog item. You can see it.
Wow.
It's got the short description. It's Microsoft Access and so on. So basically, what I wanted to say was is this makes our life easy. Spoke generator in Vancouver release, it helps you to create n number of actions within less time as a human does into a system manually. It gives you a skeleton. It does not add inputs to the action, but it add inputs to the steps. That is my learning. It also
We need
helps you to
to.
easily change the API operation. Here you see uh, it has a reference to all the imports which we do, and the operations, API operations are dependent on the API source. If I say import this, I again have an action, I again have an option to import new, um, let's say, open API specification. Now, when this is useful is when you actually add an open API step into your existing action. So if I go here and if I say open API things, this is, you can see this is empty. If I go here, if I go here like this, if I click, if I enter the whole JSON here, it gives me uh, a new API operations. And then you don't have to follow the whole spoke generation thing. But this particular part is helpful only for if you have any existing actions where you need to do this, then it helps you to solve this problem. And this is a feature of Integration Hub. And today we were really focusing on Spoke Generator. Any
One
questions,
question.
Dhruv?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this one looks fine when it is the simple API or something like that. But when it goes to stream data thing, is it that good or
The pagination support, you mean that the
yeah,
data streams? No,
yeah.
if you see that that option is still a different option. But in data streams, you can use Open API step. So it's not like
So it's
basically data stream is nothing but an action, an extra action with some additional steps in it, like pagination, pre-processing script, post-processing script. But you can add an extra step. I believe I have not checked it. Let's check it. LWP demo DS. I don't have this. I'm just going to say this. No, there is no open API
no. So
available.
so any API that supports pagination, so we have to go by the
Data
earlier things.
streams.
So might be
Yeah.
something coming in Washington or something. You never know.
Maybe a good idea to raise it with our from the idea forum and
They're gonna kill
may get
us.
picked. But just to summarize, then Spoke Generator is a way in which you can create a number of actions pretty quickly along with a skeleton. And if you want to enhance it, you can do it later on. You can publish only the actions which you want. Advantages are it saves time, of course, and you can uh, how you say the
Standardization is the
open
basic thing. Standardization
basic
is the
thing,
key.
yeah. And for me, again, I will repeat. I think I said it in the beginning. We have so many in-house built applications, and for those, ServiceNow out of the box does not provide spokes,
Yeah.
and that is the major advantage of Spoke Generator, where I can immediately create um, a spoke if I have open API specifications for that in-house built custom applications. And many people are already maintaining it in Swagger, in Visual Studio, on some internal websites. You just need to either get an URL. If the URL is internally hosted, you need a connection, of course, from ServiceNow to that particular URL. If you want to import the open API specifications from the URL, or you can just copy paste it into that box and generate it.
Perfect.
That being said, what are your learnings, Dhruv? Just to summarize, and then we can end this.
So personally, I really like the spoke generator thing. Reason being, I've been doing integration for quite long, so I've done same tool integration with multiple vendors, and every time the requirements are somewhat similar, but there's no way to say it's a proper method. Like if you're in service of you're creating incident, then you have different parameters and different thing. And from the vendor's point of view, it becomes very tough for us to manage, because every time you have to go in and check what they have configured and how they have configured. And for me, if this things gets adopted, then it's pretty cool. Like it saves time for low code people, for citizen development. It's a big plus. So overall, it's a great feature. I really wanted to see the way to handle data streams, as well as have options to create connections and credentials directly from here instead of going in the backend. So that
Yeah,
is one thing that I
that's a
would
big
say.
advantage. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for joining this live stream, Dhruv, and also thank you for our listeners for listening to us. If you have any feedback, please don't forget to share it with me and Dhruv. There are always few things which breaks during live coding happy hour, and that's the fun. That's the reason we are doing live coding, uh, and we want to share our knowledge as much as possible.
Just some
See you
shameless
next
plugs.
time.
Build.
Yeah,
Before that,
go
for our
for it.
listeners, build with RP is going on, so give it a shot. You still have few days left. It's a good thing. You can
Yeah,
win the Create Recon T-shirt as well.
awesome. Thank you and see you next time.